So one of the first things we're going to do to introduce coding in sixth grade is play around on this website called turtle.sugarlabs.org. And it's called Turtles Sugar Labs. I don't know why the word sugar's there actually, but it's called Turtles because we have a little turtle on the screen that we can code to move around the screen and draw or not draw, depending on what we want it to do as we go. But let's take a look at the layout of this web page before we get started here. So first of all, at the top here are your play and stop buttons to run your code and stop your code if there's a problem. Across the top here, there's ways to start a new project, load projects, save projects, and find and share projects. The three bars here at the top allow you to expand this menu a little bit. And over on the left-hand side, you'll know there's two different play buttons there. What these will do is run your code at a more reasonable pace so you can see if there's any issues with it. And we don't really use a ton of stuff over here in this second part here. So for now, I'm just going to skip this part. Down at the bottom, there's a home button because you're going to see this screen will get kind of messy with a lot of code out here. And if you lose something, like if you can't find, like I just took my start menu off the screen, if I can't find it, if I hit the home button, everything will come back on the screen. You can zoom in, zoom out, increase and decrease the block sizes. Then over here in the left-hand side, there's the menu here, and this is where all your code is. And so it's categorized. There's a pen. And when you click on the pen, you get certain choices here. The circular arrows in the center, you get some different categories. And when you click on any of these, you'll see all the different code pieces that are part of each of those. Notice that the code pieces have a shape where you can see that things could fit together. This one looks almost like a little puzzle piece here. So you can snap things into this shape that go along with it. It'll make more sense when I give you some examples. What you see out here right now is the start block. Start blocks are located in the action menu. And you can bring out multiple start blocks, which will mean you have multiple turtles on the screen at one time. When you want to get rid of code, you have a couple choices. When you drag a piece of code around, there's a little trash can at the bottom of the screen that you can drag to. You can also, if you have things out that you want to get rid of, right-click on it, and you get a bunch of choices here, copy, paste, that sort of thing. But you also have a little trash can where you can delete things there as well. All right, so let's take a look at how this code works. So first of all, the start block is shaped like this because the code goes inside of it, and when we run our code, the code will run everything that's inside of this start block. And this start block will expand as we add more code to it. Basically, it's the way the computer program knows where to start and where to end the code. That's what this shape sort of indicates. So let's have our turtle do something pretty simple at first. Let's have it make a square. So if I go into the pen menu, you'll see the little turtle here. That's where you're going to find most of the movement code for the turtles. Now, turtles have a face, so they go forward. They also can go backward. So I'm going to have the turtle go forward. I'm going to bring this block out, and you're going to notice that by default, it gets a little number in it. And the number by default is 100. That's 100 pixels on the screen, basically. If I run this code, the turtle has run the code and moved forward 100 pixels. I can then move the turtle and see the line that it's drawn. Now up at the top here, there's an eraser tool to clean the work area so that we can run it. So what I want to do is have my turtle make a square. So I want the turtle to go forward and turn right. Now notice there's a number value in right. Now this time the number does not mean a distance, it means an angle. So it's going to turn right at 90 degrees. So I'm going to run that. And you can see the turtle has gone forward 100 and then turned to the right. So now to complete this square, I'm going to clean that up. I'm just going to go ahead and bring those out. Now what I can do actually is right click on this and duplicate it because I need to do this 4 times. And put this in here. So forward right, forward right, forward right, forward right. Let's see what happens when I run this code. My turtle has made a perfect square and turned and it's facing back towards the front. So there we go. Perfect square. Simple. Easy peasy. However, a coder would say this is a lot of wasted code because if you look carefully, you'll see we just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. So in this case, we want to simplify our code. Coding can get a little out of hand. You know, the video games we play, the websites we go to, they have thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of code. If you have a mistake in your code, would you rather look through thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of code, or would you rather look through much less than that? Obviously, we'd want to look through less. So whenever coders can save code lines or reduce them, they will do so. So since we are basically repeating the same thing 4 times, forward, right, forward, right, forward, right, we don't need to do these individually each time. Together with the start block, this is 9 blocks of code, 9 lines of code. Let's reduce it. So in our flow area, there's a repeat block. It looks kind of like a start block because, again, a repeat block is going to run everything that's inside of it the number of times it's told to until it exits. So if I take the forward and right and put them in here, this is saying start the code, repeat what's inside 4 times, move forward 100 and turn right 90 degrees, and then go back through and do that until you've hit the number of repeats you're supposed to hit. So let me get rid of this extra code here. Just drag these to the trash, or at least I'll try to. Someday I'll get it. All right, how about I just hit the trash can? All right, let me clear this and let's run the code. So there you go. Instead of 9 lines of code, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of code. So we've cut that code in half. Very easy. Now you might notice that our turtle is currently drawing in sort of a purple color. Usually the color matches the turtle, the default color. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But what if I want to have a different color? So let's go around with that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the pen in this case, and there's a set color block. I'm going to bring that out, and I'm going to put it at the top of the code. And you'll notice there's a number in there. That's because Turtle Labs coordinates numbers with letters, or I'm sorry, numbers with colors. But the nice thing is if you click on the number, you'll get this color wheel. And you can choose any value between 0 and 100, or maybe it's 99. But like all of the numbers between 10 and 20 will be kind of in the red family, but moving as you get higher, it'll get closer to orange. And then all of the 20s will be orange, moving closer to yellow, etc. So orange is my favorite color, so I'm going to go with 25. And I'm going to go ahead and run my code. And there you go. You can see I've drawn it in orange now. Okay, I'm going to clear that out. And I'm going to do something here now. Let's talk about how the code is being run. Okay, when we run the code starts at the top and goes all the way down through the bottom. So you'll notice my turtle now, because I took that orange code out of there, the orange color out of there, it drew it back in its default color. I'm going to bring another set color block out. And again, I'll just choose 20 and make it orange again. I'm going to clear this out. Before I run this now, based on what I just told you, what color is the square going to be? All right, let's see if you're right. I'm going to hit play. Even though I put in set color to orange, that's what 20 is, the turtle drew it in pink or mauve or whatever we want to call this color, because again, the code runs from the top to the bottom. So what happened is the turtle drew the square and set the color at the end, but by the time it set the color, it was done drawing the square. Now if I run the code again, it is going to draw it in orange because the last thing I coded was to set the color to orange. So now when it repeats it, since it's already set to orange, it's going to draw it in orange. Okay? So again, keep in mind that where you put stuff in the code is extremely important. All right, I'm going to do something here now. Let's actually do this. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Whoops. I'm going to put the set color here. Instead of picking a color, let's do a random color. So in the number block, which is right here in the double arrow one, there's a random block. I'm going to put that on set color, and I'm going to say pick a random color between 0 and 99. And I'm just going to go ahead and run my code. So that time it's kind of purple. That time it's orange. That time it's red. Kind of a different red. So you can see it's a random color each time. Again, the first thing it does is sets a random color and then draws the square. I'm going to make one change here, and I want to see if you can predict what's going to happen. So I'm going to put the set color inside the repeat. What's going to happen when I run this code now? I'll give you a second to think about it. All right, I'm going to run it. Let's see if you're right. Now what you might notice is it is drawing each side of the square now a random color. Now sometimes the colors look similar. Don't forget that in the color wheel, there's a number of ways to be red. So these two reds might be the exact same, or they might be a little bit different. But again, the color is random. So it's possible to choose the same random number twice, but for the most part, you'll usually see 4 different sides to it since it's picking a random color each time. All right, a couple more things here, and then I'm going to have you guys play with this. Now, you can have multiple turtles on the screen at the same time. If you bring out multiple multiple start blocks, you'll have multiple turtles on the screen. So you can see I have 3 turtles on the screen right now, and I can copy this code and put it in each of the turtles. Let me copy that one more time. But I'm right-clicking to get that to happen. Okay, now all 3 turtles are on top of each other by default, so I'm just going to move them and then have them draw their squares. And so each turtle is drawing a random square. All right, I'm going to pause the video for a second and show you something kind of cool, and then we'll talk about what you think the code had to be for it. All right, so while you were away, I added another turtle and I put some code here, but I've hidden it now. I've collapsed the block so you can't see it. This is our normal turtle with the normal square. When I click this start block, this turtle alone will draw this one square with the random colors. Now what I'm going to do is, let's see what this turtle does. It's a mystery at the moment, but let's see what this turtle does. Kind of mesmerizing, isn't it? So now the question I have for you, and the turtle is going to stop right now. Okay? So the question I have for you is, this square and this design look very different. The circular one looks crazy different. My question is, how different do you think the code is? How much extra code do you think there is to make this compared to this? Let me let you think about it for a second. Okay, that's enough time. Now let's take a look. Look at these 2 codes compared to each other. There's only 2 extra lines of code here. This part in the middle right here is the exact same as this one square. All I'm doing here is putting a repeat inside a repeat and having it draw a square and then turn just 2 degrees and repeating that 180 times, and it ends up making this beautiful design right here. All right, that's a good intro. It's time for you guys to start playing. Go to the link that's in Google Classroom, look at the page I've given you of hints, and see what you can start doing with your turtles, and get ready to do some turtle challenges when we're back together.